The British economy is on the brink of collapse as Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt have successfully turned the British population into the slaves to the state. You know what happens when the population overall are completely dependent and reliant on the state? Well, it's much easier to control them, but it's definitely not sustainable, especially under so-called democracies in the West. We have a situation where the whole economy is obviously in a mess. There might be some improvements with inflation going forward, but that's not really the case. It's not really about the growth of GDP or reduction of GDP. It's about the economic culture of this country. We've heard some bad news recently. We have GB News actually published this a survey and this research that showed that more than half of Brits, the majority of British households are now getting more in benefits than they pay in tax. So the richest 10% are basically funding the whole country. They are footing the bill. And you think, oh, well, that's fairness. That's progressive taxation. Yeah, the rich must pay. On the other hand, because big business and big government are going hand in hand, the rich are still fine. They're doing their thing. On the other hand, the people who are being damaged are the working classes and the middle classes. The people who are actually being forced, and it's like an addiction, basically, addiction to the state, where they are getting more in benefits than in tax. And by the way, the benefits is not just unemployment benefits or child benefit or any of the things like that. It's everything about the state. And this is absolutely chaotic, what's happening under Jeremy Hunt and Rishi Sunak. A shocking new study has revealed that most households in Britain take more from the government than they give. Now, this is the whole thing is going to completely collapse at some point because Jeremy Hunt is set to announce the spring budget in March, in a couple of months. The top 20% of earners, on average, pay £35,000 more in taxes than they receive in public spending. So that's the top 20%. But the bottom 40% see an average of £23,000 a year in cash benefits and benefits in kind. Bottom 40%, by the way, that means almost half. They're literally, the system is no longer working because the whole culture that created this country, that also resulted in the creation of America, let's not forget. Free market capitalism, individual liberty, individual responsibility, family values, community spirit, all the things that made this country a hard-working nation, to be able to actually have opportunities, to have jobs, to create businesses, to go out there and contribute back into society, all that's gone. We're going towards big state. We're going towards, well, we don't have to work because we're just getting free money. We don't have to do anything. And basically, it's going to be a mini Cuba session, a mini Venezuela session. Obviously not to that level because they still have a market-based kind of economy. But in terms of what you get and what you pay and what you get is completely not sustainable, especially with the push that the socialists have toward a universal basic income and completely work from home, even if you have to actually go out, all that nonsense. That's going to create a situation where a lot of people are no longer be willing to actually work hard. A lot of people won't have the opportunity to get jobs. So people will be essentially unemployed, or they'll be forced to have low-paid jobs because they cannot find high-paid jobs, well-paid jobs. And that is how you become a slave to the state. If you create a weak economy and weak jobs, and that basically there's literally low pay, and you have to work so hard to make a little bit of money, and then you're going to have to be dependent on the state to do a top-up. That is not a healthy economy at all. And it's going to collapse eventually. But of course, you're going to have the right-wingers and the left-wingers clash over nonsense. I don't care about the right-wingers or left-wingers. I don't even care about the centrists. That doesn't exist. I'm still against the idea. But we have to talk about simple, basic economy that we have in this country. But clearly, there is no one willing to have this discussion in the political system. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know about your experiences in your personal lives in the comment section. We'll have a look. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.